I never got it, why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, 'cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks for dropping by. Hey, if you're a subscriber, we really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. If you're not a subscriber, please take a minute to subscribe and hit that thumbs up if you find this conversation interesting. Divorces and Filipinos. Now, that is a very broad subject. For instance, there are actually divorce statistics in the Philippine Statistic Authority, the PSA. However, they're lumped in with annulments and separations, and you can't disconnect the three items, so you have no true parts and pieces to go by. But that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're really here to talk about is again, going on yesterday's video, myths, urban legends, misinformation, unwarranted, unfounded, or non-supported information. And that is, if you bring your Filipino wife to the U.S., are you at greater risk of ending up with a divorce? Well, let's take a look at it, shall we? Because it's actually was hard to research this. So let me preface this by saying that, the other day I did a video on cheating, and is it any more prevalent in the Philippines than it is in the U.S.? And my general opinion was that because YouTube loves a drama, we see a lot of videos about cheating Filipino wives or cheating Filipino girlfriends, all right, and even someone cheating Filipino men, all right, and foreign men, that, it is almost accepted that they cheat, and they cheat at a high rate, when in reality, I still find nothing that supports that they cheat at a rate any higher than anywhere else. But that's, again, the other day's video, and if you'd like to see that and the theory behind it and the information, just go into the videos and take a look at them. All right. But now we're talking about marriage. So let me preface this by saying, or at least I should say this in advance. If you're going to marry a foreigner, okay, it doesn't matter if it's a Filipino or somewhere else, okay, marry them in the U.S. In the U.S., you fall under U.S. law and you can get a divorce. If you bring a Filipino to the U.S. and you're already married in the Philippines, getting a divorce is very difficult. It's very expensive, okay? And it takes a long time from everything that I've been able to see. Now, they have started last year, they started to make amendments and proposals for amendments to change how divorces are taken care of here, but none of it has passed as law yet, to the best of my knowledge. But let's talk about it in the U.S. Now, what's interesting is, in the Philippines, in order for you to marry somebody, you have to get what's called a CENOMAR, CENOMAR. All right. And that is a certificate of non-marriage, whatever, It essentially means they're single. They have the legal ability to get married because Philippines does not believe in polygamy unless you are a Muslim. The U.S. does not issue a Sinamar or anything like it. In fact, since I've been married twice in the U.S., okay, I can tell you they didn't ask me even once. Well, I think they did ask once. Are you married? Are you legally? You have the legal capacity to get married? Sure, yeah, whatever. And remember that old saying, do what I say, not what I do. I actually married Arlene in the Philippines. So, bad example. If I ever want a divorce or she ever wants a divorce, that's going to be ugly. But thank God, we're still doing great as far as I know. With that being said, the United States does not track, the U.S. government does not track divorces. Now, what does happen is states report divorces. Some states, approximately 44 states, and the District of Columbia report divorces. The CDC, which lists divorces by state, is actually done by survey and then extrapolated against population. Isn't that weird as crap? But when you go to the PDFs that are sent on a state-by-state basis, which I did, what you'll find out is they don't mention anything about the status of a person's origin. Okay? So in other words, it doesn't list now some states do list a few ethnic tangibles, but they don't list if both parties were, okay? And they don't list where they were married or anything like that. So I want to know, these people that keep saying that if you bring your Filipino to the Filipina or Filipino to the U.S., you are more likely to get a divorce, that the divorce rates are high. I want to know where they're getting that information, because I can tell you that the CDC offers nothing of that sort in a regular manner. And I can tell you that the U.S. Gov that produces the divorce statistics doesn't give information to that matter. It doesn't tell you were they a Caucasian male, a Filipino female, and they got a divorce. It doesn't tell you how long they were married. It doesn't tell you where they were married even, only that it's a recognized marriage in the U.S. Well, you can get married in the Philippines, and that's recognized in the U.S. as being married. If they got a divorce, obviously, well, that's not true. I was going to say, obviously, they were married in the U.S. or in a country that allows divorce. The Philippines does allow divorce, but it takes years. It takes years. It's easier to get an annulment than a divorce, and even an annulment can take years. So with that being said, so I started thinking about it when I was thinking about the cheating video. I started thinking to myself, wait, hold on. We went to about a dozen different websites researching the cheating video. And we pulled statistics and collated them for ourselves and then reduced it down to the video you saw with respect to opinions. Here we did the same thing, only there were only 3 particular websites, 2 of which are done by survey only and then extrapolated against population. And none of them break it down to where you can actually track Filipinos or Filipinas married to a foreigner divorce rates. So I want to know, other than the fact that you've seen it on YouTube, other than the fact that, you've seen it on YouTube, you've heard people say this, that, and the other, where are you getting this information? I would love to see that information. Don't send me links to an author that says so if he doesn't footnote that information. Okay? That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for real governmental websites that actually track it. Now, the second thing is you can say, but I've seen it, Mike. I've been there. I knew 3 Filipino couples, 3 guys married to Filipinas. They all got divorces once she got to the U.S. Well, it's very possible. Shit, the divorce rate is, over 40% in America. Does that mean that 40% of all of the foreign marriages to Filipinas are getting a divorce? And if it does, 40% would still not be a greater number. It would just be equal to the current average. So I want to know where these people get this information, because my point here has been, and our point has always been, don't trust 100% of what we see and say. Go do your own research. Okay? That's so important. There's 1,000 YouTubers with 1,000 opinions, and we can go into the old story about everybody has an opinion. All right? But with that being said, there is the old game of telephone being played, where you line 10 people up, you whisper a small paragraph into the first person's ear, they relay it all the way down the line, then you get the last person to repeat it out loud, and how different is it than what you started with. Watching YouTubers is great to get information, but more important than getting information, it's about making this work, using your brain. You can gather so much information on your own from much more reliable sources. And don't get me wrong, there are some great YouTubers that are great, reliable sources and are very careful and precise about what they say and where they get their information. Okay? I got to quit saying that so much. Okay. One of our subscribers told me that. He was right. The point with all of it is, I don't know that the divorce rates are any higher or any lower, but I don't think they are. I really and truly do not. Arlene and perfect example. I brought Arlene to the United States. She has green card, whole 9 yards, driver's license, pays taxes, bank accounts. All right? Got to quit saying all right so much too. She's fully immersed in an American culture. We didn't get a divorce, and we actually moved full-time. We were part-time back and forth, and then full-time for years, and then now full-time back in the Philippines. We didn't get a divorce. We haven't even been to marriage counseling. So I don't know what else to say. Now there are plenty of guys out there. There are going to be a lot of guys that will respond and say, I was married to a Filipino, brought her to the U.S., and the first thing she did was divorce me as soon as she got her visa, her permanent visa. All right? Because keep in mind, when you bring them over on a K-1, you get married, you get used to be a 1-year visa, then it was a 2-year visa, and if I'm not mistaken, it's now like a 3 or 4-year visa. before you get the 10-year visa, and then you become eligible for citizenship, I think, at 5 years. What can I say? Some people's relationships work and some people's don't. You may have oversold the U.S. to her. You may have oversold what her life would be in the U.S. I have no idea. I do apologize that you went through the heartache and the emotional trauma of a divorce, and I hope you and wish you better in your future. But that just doesn't mean it to me. It really and truly doesn't. I need some sort of statistical facts, and I just don't see them. I don't see anything that points to the divorce rates being higher in one way or the other. Certainly they're higher than they are in the Philippines because they're damn near impossible to get. All right, that's why there's so many married women and men dating and cohabitating. In fact, there was a big article on that in the Phil Star just recently, 2 months ago. So tell us your opinion. Let us know. Contact me. Put it in the comments. Email me. We'll keep it totally anonymous. All right? But tell us why you think, if you think, the divorce rates are significantly high and a big threat. Otherwise, consider subscribing. Thanks. And we hope you have a great day. And it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Or it is in the Philippines. Maybe not yet where you are. Bye.